Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Âtrium X Space. Today will be a special episode. We'll be joined by two teams today. So first, we'll talk about Haus, and at the 1 hour mark, we'll switch over to the snack team. But first, let's welcome. Sorry. First, we'll welcome Haus, and we also should have Peyton here soon. Haus has already joined. Hey, welcome, guys. Let me get you up here. All right. So excited about this one. This double episode should be a good one. Hello, Haus. Am I speaking to Rakesh? Is it correct?
Hey, yeah, this is Rakesh Pullavatla. Great to be joining this X Spaces. Love to answer any questions that you have. Happy to introduce ourselves. I'm assuming we are still waiting for someone from your side, right?
Yeah, Peyton. Still waiting for Peyton, but he should be here in a second. So how are you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. It's in the evening here already, so it'll be a late one for me today, but that's okay. That's not a problem. It's a good time for spaces.
Great. Yeah, we are talking from San Francisco Bay Area. So Haus is based out of San Francisco, but we have our team all over the world. So it's a little bit of a cloudy day, but hoping this would be a great discussion among us.
Yeah, definitely. So Peyton's here. Let me get you up here, Peyton. There we go. Good morning, Peyton. How you doing? Oh, it should be good. There he is.
Hey, Peyton. Looks like you're on mute.
Yeah, still figuring something out, I think. So were you surprised by the reaction from the community when it got released? And
Yeah, actually very pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting the community to give us sort of a red carpet welcome. We are very happy with how the community has welcomed us, and it was certainly not expected, but I feel very, very excited about how the community has reacted towards us.
yeah, definitely, it was welcomed quite broadly, I think. Always nice to find projects that see the value in Cardano. So I guess we could get started. How about we start with some short introduction about yourself and Haus, the company?
Sure. So I am Rakesh Pullavatla. I'm the co-founder at Haus. I actually come from a background in fintech, blockchain, and prop tech. I have scaled companies and taken companies public, Planet Labs and Boku, and my other co-founder and I have had exits which are in excess of $10 billion, right? So we are seasoned founders. Let me talk a little bit about Haus. When we started talking about Haus, we said, why should home ownership be a all or nothing deal? So that is where the thing came up, and we also wanted to do something good for the world. People here in the US, they own a lot of real estate. They own their homes, but they don't have enough cash to take care of the normal expenses. So we go in, take a part of their home, 10% of their home, give them cash out, and take an equity position in their home, right? And that is what we did with our MVP. And with our MVP, just with our MVP, we have right now 22 million plus of TVL. which would make us, just with the MVP, one of the biggest or the top real estate RWA platforms. We are trying to solve this 50 trillion worldwide problem, right? We want to do good. We are not a meme coin. We are a security, which means the coin, the house coin, would go up and down based on the real estate the underlying real estate, right? And also, it's like, I mean, if you look at the US, just the US real estate, it has never gone down in a 10-year time period, even when you include 2008, 2009. So we are solving a very big problem, right? And for that, we need a great platform. We need a platform that is a serious platform, and that is where we thought, we looked at different platforms, and Cardano fit the bill. Like, one is that it is a very serious platform, and also, it is, it has never had a security breach in its lifetime, which is great for us. Also, its gas fees are very predictable, so which is something for a real estate kind of a platform. We'll need something very predictable gas costs. So that are all the reasons. I kept talking, but happy to take any other questions from you about this.
No, that's fine. So if I understand correctly, the house coin is kind of asset backed by real estate. Then is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. So it's a portfolio of homes, fractionalized homes. So there's a home, let's say my home. I can sell 10% of my home and get that cash out, and that 10% sits behind that house coin, and it could be hundreds of such homes. So right now we have around 36 homes that are backed by this house coin, and we want to build this. This was our MVP, just our MVP, and we had in excess of 24% IRR, which none of the other asset classes can think about. Even VCs, the very big VCs, they get 15 to 20% IRR. So we have an asset class that keeps growing, and it is backed by something real, right? A real estate, a owner-occupied home. You don't have to worry about. Like, I am a owner of another home which I rent out. It's a pain. Like, if you ever done that, it's a pain, because the renters move out, the renters costs have maintenance issues and everything. But if I own a house coin, I own a little bit of that home. The homeowner stays in that home and takes care of the home, maintains the home, does everything, right? So I don't have to have the headache of owning a home and maintaining that home. So that is the basis of this. Like, one is, we are on one side, we are helping the homeowners stay in his or her home. At the same time, we are making this asset class available to people all around the world through this house coin.
Hey everybody, sorry for not being here right away. I was trying to join, but I was having some technical difficulties. I'm really excited to have you here, Haus, and as you're explaining more, I'm getting more excited. How do you guys select, the houses that you ultimately purchase, within the house ecosystem? Like, what locations as well? Like, how do you guys select locations?
So we have a AI system through which we decide which houses to invest in. So we have people come in through our website, through our marketing, saying, hey, we want to cash out, let's say $50,000, because I want to send my kid to college, or have repair my home, or maybe take that money and put it on ADA or Bitcoin, right? So once they come in, there are two factors in this, right? One is the property value, right? The property value and how much the person owns. In a typical mortgage world, it's called loan to value. So we look through that. We have data from third-party sources which will give us that information. Now, if that is good, we look at the person's information, like debt to income ratio, how much debt that person has, and the income and everything else. And we figure out, okay, is this person underwritable? Is this property underwritable? Now, based on that, there is a third thing that we do is this property going to appreciate based on 40 different factors that our proprietary model figures out whether how much will this appreciate. And based on that, we decide using our proprietary algorithms that should we buy a fraction of this home. And that is what forms the basis of this. And we would like to, and that is how we decide the homes that we want to invest in.
Okay. Where do you guys have like any percentages on where the homes are currently located that you guys already have?
So for our MVP, this is our MVP where we have 22 million plus TVL. We are right now located on the west coast of the US, which is California, Washington, and Oregon. So we plan to pretty soon, before the end of the year, go to different parts of the US. So we are a US backed at this point in time. So we want to cover the US market, which has 17 trillion plus of positive home equity, which means people own that equity and we can access that equity, right? And also, like if you look at Deloitte's paper just released yesterday, it says we will have 4 trillion worth of real estate tokenized in the next 6 to 8 years. So that's a lot of that we would love to get into this.
Yeah, I think that, tokenizing is the founder of BlackRock says, everything's going to be tokenized. And it seems you guys are, you have a head start in this industry. I'm curious on, how you went about that. I think that, the last 4 years has kind of been a bit, grim for cryptocurrency as far as, getting licensure. So, and you guys, did it before anyone else, it seems like. So, what was that process like, getting your licensure in California, to be able to tokenize assets on the blockchain?
Yeah, so we always think about compliance first. So without compliance, this would not happen, right? So we have licenses here in the States to operate this product, right? And also on the investor side, we are SEC registered, SEC Reg D registered. So we think about compliance both on the consumer side as well as on the investor side. And we keep talking with the regulatory bodies here in the US, both from a consumer point as well as an investor point. And we want to be on the right side of compliance. And that is what we have been doing. And we are also exploring the MiCA thing, and we should be filing that in the coming quarters. So it is not just the US, right? Not just the US investors, but all across the world. Europe, we would also love to go to Asia. And we are looking, our legal team is looking at all the compliance issues that come with it. Because we are a security, we are not a meme coin, we are not a utility coin. I call this better than the stable coin, better than the USD stable coins out there, because stable coins are stable, right? But real estate that is backing this actually keeps growing. And we have like I said, 24% IRR. It is unmatched. Yeah. Good.
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. I was just going to comment that it's not often in our industry that you hear someone proudly, proclaim that they're a security, and it's nice to hear, honestly. So, I was looking through, your budget proposal submitted to the Cardano Treasury. Cardano's at an interesting time right now. Full decentralization is now here, and people can go to the Treasury and request funds. There's currently a budget process that's going on right now, where any D-rep in the ecosystem, they can come in and they can vote yes or no on different proposals that will all be put together in this budget. If 50% is reached on the proposal. So I saw that you guys had a proposal in there. Could you kind of explain, what you guys are proposing for the Cardano community in your budget proposal?
Yeah, so great. Even before when we were talking to Cardano, we did not know about this budget proposal, and we were told, hey, why don't you put up a budget proposal? And we put up the budget proposal, and so the budget proposal says that we would be an open source. So all of our code that we develop on Cardano would be open source. We are going to bring this from our other blockchain platform onto Cardano. We are bringing, the real estate platform with 22 plus million TVL onto this platform, and we are asking for this money from the treasury, which we plan to give back, right? We have even in our proposal said, if this is what we are building for the community, right? The platform is for the community. Anyone can come in and say, hey, I want to do this same thing. You can take the code and do this, right? So our budget proposals focuses on three things. We'll bring this from the other blockchain platform onto Cardano. We'll make this open source. We also will need, to do some compliance like MiCA and other parts of the world. So the Cardano community will get a security that anyone can access across the world. So this proposal is exciting for the Cardano community as a whole, because you are getting something that is fully developed. It is not something that is, hey, we are going to develop, right? There is already a working product which has proven product market fit. Again, reiterating, it will be an open source, and we'll give it back to the treasury, and we will have an open ecosystem where everyone who holds this Haus coin would have a say in the direction of this company.
That's great to hear. Touching on that platform that's already live that you have for the MVP. So you'll be migrating that to Cardano. Could you comment a bit on the decision that was made there, and how it's been so far?
Yeah, so the decision was not taken lightly. We were talking to Cardano for 4 or 5 months. We are talking to other big ecosystems out there, and we realized like Cardano is a serious ecosystem, right? It's a serious ecosystem. We have, again, what I repeated before also is like, it's a security first design, right? Has never been a smart contract exploit. You have low predictable transaction fees, right? It is critical for home equity transactions, and you are decentralized. Although it's a lot of other blockchains call themselves decentralized, but you guys are actually really decentralized, and I'm seeing that firsthand from our proposal. And our proposal, like I said, is live, and feel free, like all the D-Reps out there, feel free to have a look at it and cast your vote on that. Love to have that. So again, these are the things that really attracted to us. We talked to other blockchains. One of the other big blockchains is mostly meme coin based, and we want to be serious people. We are serious people, and Cardano is the most serious blockchain out there, right? So that was one of the biggest reasons that we have come to this. And of course, the community kind of came in and gave us sort of a red carpet welcome, which I was not expecting, which none of us were expecting. And Stake with Pride put that tweet out there, which we were not expecting. We had, to be honest, we did not know Stake with Pride. I still haven't talked to him. and he put that thing, and it just went viral. And here we are talking about this and our proposal.
How has the feedback been so far on the proposal? You can actually add comments on gov.tools or the new tool that's been recently released. I'm not going to even try it pronouncing it. But yeah, how's the feedback been so far on the proposal?
The feedback has been good. I have not been trying to look at the voting, but lastly this morning when I looked at it, it is not reached the 50% mark. So we'll try to reach out to a few more D-reps and explain our proposal, and would love to get it passed. So need the help to get it passed. If that gets passed, it would accelerate our development on the Cardano ecosystem. And this is not, again, like I said, will be an open source thing. This is what we'll develop for the community. The business on that, even if when it gets profitable, we are almost at the break-even stage. We are a revenue-producing company. So we would hope, like, if these things work on Cardano and it starts making more profit, we will give it back to the treasury, right? So this is not something that we'll take it and run away from it, right? So this is something that I'm talking on a public platform, and it is also on the proposal. So that is what we commit ourselves to.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, honestly, Cardano is an interesting spot because the treasury just opened up for the first time. There's a lot of politics around, conserving the treasury. And then also, there's so many proposals in there, in a 1 month period that, using these tools for the first time, I think that, it's kind of hard to see, some of the great proposals that are in there, considering the, sheer amount of proposals. But for anybody just tuning in, I want to say thank you guys all for being here. We host these spaces every Wednesday at 16 UTC. I hope to see you here next week. If you have any questions, feel free to comment them by clicking that button in the bottom right-hand corner. Leave your questions and comments in there. Feel free to request speaker and come on up if you have any questions for Haus yourself. And if you guys are enjoying the space, leave a like and a retweet and a comment on that little button in the bottom right-hand corner there.
So what the next thing I was wondering was, how is the migration going? When do you expect an MVP to be available to, I don't know, testers or the broader community?
Yeah. So our roadmap right now says that we would want to launch this in Q4 2025 for the Cardano investors. So that is where it is, and then the broader public rollout would happen soon after, right? So what will the Cardano community get, right? They would be from most parts of the world, Europe and Asia. They'll be able to buy fractionalized home tokens with their own ADA, right? They don't have to find some other token to buy this, right? And then they can stake Haus coin for rewards. They can trade home these Haus coins on Cardano native dexes. So this is what we have planned for. It's not just a roadmap, right? It is a countdown until Cardano users in their own wallet can hold a piece of real home, right? In the US, right? And it's like I've been repeating, this is better than a USD stable coin because it keeps growing. So you can use this, gain a yield, and also, the Haus coin keeps growing along with the real estate, that the underlying real estate. And our traction has been, we have been doing 24% IRR, and we'll continue to do that. So that is what the roadmap is, and that is where we are at this point.
So do you believe that the treasury funding would accelerate that timeline that you just proposed for us?
Yes, absolutely. The treasury funding would accelerate everything that we are doing. Again, this is all our money, like the founders' money that has been put into this for the MVP, and we have spent a lot of this thing. So sometimes we get cautious on what we do, but this is something that we would build for the community. Again, this would be open source, so all the the compliance stuff, the hiring of a few Cardano native developers, it will all help us accelerate this onto Cardano platform. So yes, definitely. So please help us with the proposal too. And with or without that, we are here. We are developing. It will just take a little more time for us to get there, though. But we are here.
Awesome. I appreciate you explaining that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious in your guys's analysis. You guys mentioned you're using founder money to move over to Cardano. I'm curious on the way you guys are looking at the real estate market right now. I mean, maybe it's a little off topic. I'm just curious if you guys are kind of buying in these markets using the security.
So we are very bullish on the US real estate, right? It is at this point in time, like even if you look at the US economy contracted just this morning, news came in, the US economy contracted, but the US real estate has been growing and it will continue to grow, especially in the markets that we are in at this point in time. And we have our proprietary AI model, which figures out based on like 40, 50 different factors, whether this home that you are investing in is actually going to go up or not. And we have very high confidence in our model. So based on that, we are very bullish on the real estate market, US real estate market, and we'll continue to invest. We are not going to stop because the US economy as a whole contracted just this morning. The news came out. So yeah, we are bullish and we'll continue to do that.
So you mentioned earlier that the goal is Q4 of 25. You'll be able to bring this to Cardano investors. Is that going to be essentially you guys raising money for the Haus token and then using that money to then go buy real estate? And I'm curious also as far as in the U.S. You have to be an accredited investor to purchase assets like this. So will that be open for everybody in the world? Will that be open for U.S. citizens or just accredited investors in the U.S.?
So at this point in time, it is open to accredited investors only in the US. We are Reg D. But we have plans to get to Reg A. So most of the people would be covered by the Reg D. But across the world, we will also have we can have retail investors invest in this. And in our roadmap, we also have a Reg A filing, which would mean that retail investors, even in the US, would be able to access this. So we want people, everyone in the world, to be able to access this asset class without the headache of being a landlord. So that is the idea. There will be step by step. It is not going to be, the first step would not be, hey, everyone in the world, regardless of who you are, would be able to invest in this. That is probably not possible in the very first step, but that is the idea. That is the full idea of where we are going to.
Yeah, when you're dealing with securities and the SEC, it has to go step by step. Unfortunately, I understand that. So I was wondering, what will the platform look like? Will the real estate that's up for investing in? Will they be displayed on the platform? What will users be able to do on the platform will be launched on Cardano?
So yes, so they will be able to look at all the homes that we are looking at, like as a house, as a company is looking at to invest in, and they'll have the votes to say, hey, yes, this looks good or not. And we will also have like every home that it is on their list to buy, or like buy a fractional estate of that. We will give a sort of a investment memoranda kind of a thing on the website, looking at this and saying, hey, why are we trying to invest in this? What is the loan to value? What is the debt to income ratio of all those things? So people can say, yes, this is a great investment. Put it on the Haus coin, and we'll be interested. Like I'll be interested in buying something like this. So that would be something that the users would be able to look at, and decide for themselves whether this is and help us decide whether we should invest in this or not, right? So that is completely part of that. Of course, on our platform, you can always be able to stake your Haus coins, earn rewards. In the liquidity pools, you should be able to create your own liquidity pool if you want to, and gain rewards on this. So ours is more of a very open kind of a platform where you can earn rewards and be an active participant in this ecosystem. So what we are building is not just for us, right? It is for the whole community. The whole community would be able to look at this and say, the direction of this company should be this, right? We just don't have a profit motive only. We want to help people stay in their homes. If you look at people in the US, they are struggling with, a lot of people are struggling with their finances. We want to help them stay in their homes, right? So there's a social motive and a profit motive, and you will hear all about all of these people that are that would be becoming our customers, right? Even now, if you go to haus.com/testimonials, you will hear from our customers how we help them and how much they like Haus, right? So I hope that answers your question.
It does. I have one more question. Thanks for being here, Chicken. I wanted to ask about the staking rewards. Are those staking rewards coming in more Haus tokens? Or are they coming from maybe rental payments from the real estate assets that are being held? I'm curious about that.
So yes, so if I understood it correctly, how would these staking rewards be, right? So the staking rewards would be on the Haus coins. So it is, so if you stake 100 Haus coins for a year, you'll get like a 5 to 6% reward, and those rewards would also be it would be in Haus coins, and when a house exits, which means that they give us our cash back, it could also be in one of the USD. It's kind of like a dividend, right? So, and this is all would be decided by the Haus coin token holders, who would vote on all these proposals on what should be the staking rewards, what should be when a house exits and you actually get a USD denominated thing. Do we want that to take it as a dividend, or do we want it to be reinvested in other real estate properties?
Awesome. I really appreciate the answer to that question. Chicken, thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming into our spaces each week. What question do you have today?
What's up, guys? Sorry, I was having like issues with space, but I actually have a few questions, and the first one is really out of pocket. Forgive me, but the speaker behind the house, I think you said your name was Karthik. Is there any chance you're South Indian? Because I'm South Indian as well.
My name is Rakesh, not Karthik.
Rakesh, I'm so sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I am Indian. Yes, I've been all over India. I came to the US around 20 plus years back with just a few dollars in my pocket, and here I am trying to help everyone else too.
That's awesome, man. I was just really curious. Do you speak Telugu by any chance?
I speak a few different languages. Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, my native language is Telugu, but just I was just really curious. Anyway, sorry about that. I actually had a question in regards to how the Haus token actually is valued. Because I've been like advising for a few RWA projects myself and messing with a few different mechanisms. Like, I was curious, like, so the real estate that you guys basically tokenize is all going to be represented by the Haus token, or is there multiple tokens? And if it's just the Haus token, how does the value pass on to the Haus token? Because I'm assuming it's going to either be an order book, liquidity book, or it's going to be like an AMM, depending on where the token is housed. So I was curious, like, is there like a claim to the treasury or anything that would give the market like a peg that it can kind of arbitrage against? Like, just curious how that value is
Yes.
maintained. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. Yes. So we will have a portfolio of all the homes, right? And all the homes are valued using a asset valuation model. So this is a third party that values all the homes in the US, right? So we will take that asset valuation model and value our properties almost every month, right? So there will be an intrinsic value to the house coin. Let's say you buy a house coin at $1, and let's assume that the homes all grew by 20%. So the intrinsic value at the beginning is $1 for the house coin, but now all the underlying assets have grown up by 20%. So your value, the intrinsic value of the house coin would be 1.2. Now, let's assume your question was like, can we do arbitrage? Let's say someone wants to sell it at 1.15, right? Because you know that the intrinsic value of the house coin is 1.2, you would want to buy that, because if you hold it, you would anyway gain 5 cents out of it. Like that is the intrinsic value. So yes, you can do the arbitrage, but at the end of the day, we would love it to be at the intrinsic value. But if someone wants to buy, if the intrinsic value is 1.2, wants to buy it at 1.22, we won't stop that. So there would not be, like on a Dexus, if you want to buy something higher or lower, it's completely up to you. But we will always display our intrinsic price, so people know what the intrinsic price is.
Gotcha. And thank you for that. Just one more follow-up question, right? So I'm basically, based on what you're saying, a third party is going to provide the oracle for the intrinsic value.
Yeah.
But maybe this could be taken as a suggestion. I don't know. Perhaps like there can be a claim to the treasury. So for example, if somebody sells the house and they pay out your portion of what's owed, and then, you know, maybe you can put that in the treasury, and the tokens can also have a redeemable claim to the treasury. That way they can actually, how do I say, like, realize the intrinsic value rather than depending on the liquidity of the markets to realize that value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can, and the community would decide. Let's say cash comes in. Let's say $100,000 cash comes in because a homeowner decides to sell. Now the community can decide, what do we do with that $100,000? Do we distribute it as dividends, or do we buy back tokens and burn it, right? Because we always want that intrinsic value to remain the same. So again, you're right. The community would decide what to do with that cash that comes in. Am I making that clear?
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate you answering my questions. That's all I had. Hey, I didn't want to like take up too much time either. Thank you.
Thank you, Chicken. You always have great questions. I appreciate you coming up here again. We're going to have snack on in a bit, so feel free to stay up here if you want. I have a question. I'm curious about the the token supply. I think that, what you guys are offering is a unique token. As you mentioned, it's not a meme coin or a utility coin. It's something, fairly new in crypto as, regulatory clarity comes into the world. I wonder about the total supply. So is there like a maximum supply, and, if not, who has the permission to essentially generate more tokens to raise more capital to go purchase more real estate property?
Yeah, so to start with, we'll have a certain supply, which we are still deciding on what supply that would be. We'll raise that money, and then once we want to get more money to deploy into real estate, we'll go back to the community and say, hey, we want to raise some more. So it won't be like a capped one, but every Haus token would be backed by the real estate. So the community would decide how much more supply do we want to bring into that, because the more supply we have, the more homes we can buy, right? So this will all be done in a very transparent manner.
I like the fact that the community of Haus coin holders is quite involved in the whole process. I actually wasn't expecting this to be possible with all of the regulations that need to be applied when you're filing for a security. So yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious what will be possible and how you will expand that. But it's surprising. It's nice to hear actually that the community has participation in the decisions. So that's that's great to hear actually.
Yeah, and our intent always is to have the community involved in most of the decisions, in almost every 100% of the decisions. And of course, there would be some regulations that we'll have to follow, and we'll always be on the right side of the compliance. And that is what is lacking in most of the real estate RWA companies that I see almost every single day, that they do certain things, but they're trying to evade the regulations. They're trying to find innovative ways to evade the regulations, and that is not what we want to do. We want to stay on the right side, and this is people's money, right? This is people's money. This is the homeowners' lives that we are handling, and we want to be very careful with that.
So, go ahead, Peyton.
I was just curious about the, Ethereum side of things and, how it really correlates with the ecosystem you're trying to build on Cardano. Is it a complete migration, or, is there going to be kind of maybe arbitrage opportunities between, these two different ecosystems? Because I read in the proposal that there was, over $20 million in TVL on Ethereum. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious on how these, ecosystems will, work with each other.
Yeah, so we want to migrate the full TVL over onto Cardano. It is not half of it that we want to migrate. So this is like complete 22 million plus TVL as of today that we would love to migrate. So to answer your question, straightforward is like we would be completely lock, stock, and barrel onto Cardano. We also have a 30,000 plus people waiting in our wait list, wanting to buy their wanting Haus to buy their fractional homes. That is equivalent to like 4 billion worth of TVL that is potential at this point in time. So we want to act quickly because they're not going to wait there forever. So that is where we are at this point. 22 million plus TVL that we want to migrate. We have 4 billion worth of TVL, potential TVL that we are waiting on. So that is where that is where we are at this point in time. We want to move quickly.
So I was wondering, for all that potential liquidity and TVL that's available to you, do you have the feeling that TradFi is waiting for tokenized real estate? What's the feedback you've been getting from institutional investors and the TradFi sector about tokenized real estates?
Yeah, I keep talking to people every single day about this, and the financial institutions want to do this, like the private equity sector, the hedge funds, the pension funds. They all want a part of this. We want to do this on the chain, and there are lots of companies that would want to buy this on the chain, right? A house coin. So we are at a point where there's a huge demand, both from the customer side as well as the investor side. And of course, we want to do this, and do this the right way. Do it on the blockchain, and make this work for everyone, not just for the retail investors, the institutions, because they want it. There's a demand on every place. So we just want to make sure that it is on a blockchain, and people get access to this, not just, like I said, not just the institutions, but even the retail investors across the world.
From my perspective, this is exactly what Cardano was made for, ultimately. And I think with the sheer amount of proposals that are currently in the budget proposal, it may be easy to miss this one. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this space, I'm going to clip it up, and I'm going to post it on my account and just ask D-reps to, if they have time, to take a listen to it and make their own opinion about what you guys are doing at Haus. I think and from my perspective, from what I've heard and what I've read in your proposal, I think it's all great. And, I'm happy to kind of extend that red carpet a little further for you guys. One thing I'll say is that, even if your proposal doesn't pass in this budget, I think that there will be more opportunities for funding, in the future, because it is, I would call this like, I think what IOG calls it is MVG, minimal viable governance, right? So I think that, if for whatever reason your proposal didn't get passed, I think there'll be more opportunities in the future.
Thanks, Peyton. Thank you for this. And this is exactly why we love Cardano, right? Everyone, there are people who, like you said, like there's so many proposals that people are not able to look at it, give their complete attention to some of these things. And if someone like you, who is a big voice in the Cardano community, comes up and says, hey guys, have a look at this one more time, that would be tremendous help for us. And I appreciate that you have been a supporter for us for a little while, and love that you could talk to other D-reps about our proposal.
For anybody just tuning in, we host these spaces every Wednesday at 16 UTC. We bring great projects on that are building on Cardano every week, and we try to fill them full of information. If you have any questions for Haus, now is your chance. Request speaker and come on up. We'll give you this chance to ask some questions there. And if you have any stage fright, leave a comment by clicking that button in the bottom right-hand corner. If you're enjoying the space, leave a comment down there too to push it out more. We have Snack coming on at the hour change as well, if you guys are looking forward to that. So thank you. Stephen, sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's okay. One thing that spiked my interest in your proposal is you're mentioning Cardano stake pools. So I'm not sure if I understand completely, but will there be some opportunities related to, the liquidity that will come to Cardano? Will that benefit stake pools as well?
Yeah. So I'm assuming you're talking about stake pools that we mentioned in our proposal. So yes, so what would happen is, let's assume that, like you stake and your rewards are being given to some other project, right? Let's assume we create a stake pool and we are taking the rewards and we will give you back Haus coin, right? Because we are going to use that stake pool rewards to invest in homes, right? And then we'll give you Haus coins. So that is like, you don't have to, we'd love you to come and invest more into that. But if you'd like to just dabble in it and say, hey, I'm just going to give you my rewards and give me your Haus coin, we would be more than happy to do that. So that was one of the things. You can buy Haus coins with your ADA, or you can just use your staking rewards to buy Haus coins. I'm assuming that was your question, right?
Yeah, it is. Yes, thanks. That makes sense.
And sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Finish this. Like, there are so many DAOs on Cardano too, right? It could be a way for those DAOs to diversify their holdings, right? You can go to USD backed, coins and all the other things, but you can also invest in this. This is real estate, right? You can diversify, let's say, 5 to 10% of your treasury and put it in here. Like, it is stable. It won't be going up and down based on the mood of the market. This would be a very stable coin and also growing.
I really like that you brought up that point. I mean, that's such an exciting future. I mean, we talk about, Bitcoin so much as, DAOs being able to hold some Bitcoin in their treasury. So, we're looking at a future where we'll be able to hold, pieces of, fractionalized real estate and Bitcoin at the same time in DAO treasuries. I think that's awesome. I appreciate that you brought up that point.
Yeah, and we have been talking to a few DAOs, previously, not very recently, and they were all excited about the prospect of diversifying their own treasury, right? The CFOs of all these companies, their biggest problem is that treasury keeps going up and down, especially during times of turmoil. They want to see that they are protected. They're it won't be protected 100%, but at least you have some semblance of stability somewhere.
Chicken, you have the last question?
Yeah, I actually just had one more idea for you guys. I know that right now a lot of Airbnb people who purchase properties and turn them into Airbnbs, sometimes they struggle because of the seasonality of it, and especially because local municipalities are changing the rules for short-term rentals all the time. Maybe another avenue for you guys to explore is kind of like a percentage collateral-backed loan based on the property value itself. So that way you guys are giving the loan collateralized based on the value of the property for their operational costs. That might be an idea too.
Yeah, so that's a great idea. We are right now in the equity space. We are not a lender at this point in time, but we plan to become a lender in the near future. And there are lots of ways. Like, you can have the HELOC market, you can have the mortgage market. There are lots of other ways. You can have a credit card, right, backed by home, right? So that is what exactly you're probably talking about, Chicken, is that if someone has a credit card which is backed by their home, right, they don't have to pay. Like, right now in the US, people take credit cards and put a lot of money on that. They are paying 25-40% APR, interest rates. That is not sustainable, right? If it is backed by your home, let's say you get a $50,000, we will get it down to like 10% interest rate every year, right? APR. That is where we are. Our vision is to go to that kind of a level where people should be able to take money off their home equity as easy as swiping a credit card. Right? That is our vision, and that would all be backed by Haus coin.
So we're going to use, the last 5 minutes to transition the space. I wanted to thank you so much for coming here, Haus. We'd love to have you on in the future as you guys progress, towards the big milestones that you mentioned in the space earlier today. Q4 seems like it's going to be, an exciting time for the Haus community. So when you guys have new big releases, make sure you reach out to us. We'll bring you back on. We'll give the community the chance to ask you some questions. And, thank you so much for taking the time for us today.
Thank you so much, Peyton, and the whole Âtrium team and the whole Cardano community. It's great talking to you guys, and look at our proposal and follow us on Twitter, and we'll have exciting announcements pretty soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So as we wait for the SNEC team to come up here, I wanted to give everybody an update on the Âtrium side. We've been working hard. We're transitioning to mainnet as we speak. And, last week I mentioned that we had, one of our, smart contracts on mainnet, which is, hugely exciting to me. We've been working on it for a while. So seeing some of this come online on mainnet is incredible. It's amazing. And, I talked to, some of our developers this morning, and we actually minted the first ever profile on mainnet as well. This is a test profile, so we're, not minting early profiles here. We have essentially a mainnet test smart contract that we have live right now. We're minting profiles. We're testing it. Over the next few days, we're actually going to be getting the first ever mainnet staking basket up live on mainnet as well. And, we're going to actually take that staking basket and delegate it to the, 50 different stake pool operators that were chosen by the community that are going to be in the diffusion staking basket. So if you haven't heard of diffusion essentially takes the ADA and delegates it to over 50 different stake pools at the same time. And then you get ATMA tokens on top of your staking rewards. And